Welcome to the Do Zone, where entrepreneurs go to get things done. I'm your host, Josh Thomas. You can find me on all social media at JT Literally. Each week, I bring on experts from a variety of backgrounds to share their secrets on how to optimize performance so you can take massive action and crush your goals. The Do Zone is sponsored by Fast Track Funnels, the new way to bring in consistent daily sales for your business in 2025 without cold outreach or burning cash on ads. We use this method with a brand new business to generate more than $100,000 cash collected in less than 30 days. You can download the free step-by-step blueprint that shows exactly how we did it at getconversions.net. Once again, that's getconversions.net. Today's guest is Kevin Halliday. Kevin's career isn't singular or linear. The landing to his serial entrepreneur portfolio is from his Calgary, Alberta brick and mortar based company, Spindle Stairs and Railings. From commercial products to custom home builds, this diverse business manufactures and installs spindle stairs, railings, and custom fabrications. From his award-winning construction business, Kevin was named one of the top 40 under 40 Entrepreneur of the Year finalists and became a successful author with his new published book titled The Art of Spindle Stairs and Railings. Kevin, welcome to the Do Zone. Tell us something you believe is the key to getting stuff done that most people wouldn't think of.
You know what? That's a great question. And I'm glad you asked that because one of the most important things ever when somebody's doing things, it's all about action. So many people out there take too long to make the action happen. They analyze things, they do this, they do that, but they never create action. Everything that we do in life is about action and going to the next step. Too many people give up and they have that little guy on their shoulder that says, oh, no, you can't do it. You don't want to do it. The bottom line is create action. It doesn't matter if you're right. It doesn't matter if you're wrong. You will be successful as long as you're going forward. I own multiple businesses. So Spindle Stairs and Railings is one of them. I'm in the entertainment industry. I own bars, restaurants, nightclubs. I'm also in fitness facilities as well. And there's only one reason why I am is because I take action. Now, it doesn't mean I know how to run a restaurant. What it means is I know how to get the right people to run a restaurant. So basically, when you're asking that question, it's about doing. Make sure that you're doing the action that's required to go to the next level, or else you're just going to be a bump on a log.
Man after my own heart, that is exactly why the Do Zone was brought into existence, because I was tired of sitting there watching people plan and get ready and do more planning and getting more ready and never actually stepping across the line and getting it done. And you just summed it up in a few words, saved me these 250 episodes that I just recorded. I could have just got you on, cancel the rest of it. That's exactly the reason that this entire podcast exists. So let's talk about that a little bit more, though, because it's something that most people miss. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about how many opportunities you have. It's not about the money that you have or the resources. It's about going out there and taking that step forward, not really knowing where your foot's going to land, but being pretty sure it's going to land in front of you.
You know what? And it's interesting that you said that, and I appreciate it because what's really the coolest thing about this is too many people are hung up on their own stories. And the biggest thing about success and an entrepreneur and everything, because there's entrepreneurs out there and they said, oh, I'm going to be the greatest entrepreneur. I'm going to do it. What they do is they buy themselves a job. The biggest thing when we're building ourselves here is actually going forward. Every time you do something, it's not about ego. It's actually going forward. If you're worried about what the guy thought about you behind you, you're not going to succeed. You need to be the 1% of the 1%. So how do you do that? You don't care what anybody else says. You don't care if you fail, because the bottom line, if you're moving forward, the rest is easy. I've been in businesses that when COVID hit, I own a company called Plexi Canada. And the point of the matter was is everything blew up. But as an entrepreneur, we had to ask ourselves better questions. And the question was, is that, all right, it's not a doom and gloom, because as soon as you start to talk about, oh, I wish I could have done it, should have, could have, you would have should all over yourself. The idea here is basically creating an opportunity that asking yourself a better question, keeping curious and saying, now, if I did this, what would happen? What would happen if I did this? Now, it's not a why. People are saying, oh, you got to have your whys. No, no, no. It's about the do. So all of a sudden say, oh, if I did this, this would happen. And then all of a sudden go down that if I do this, this is going to happen. And ask yourself a better question. And you get to actually see what the market bears. And then all of a sudden you create a widget that you didn't even know you had. And you don't have to love your business. Trust me. If people say, oh, you got to get into business because you love it. No, you don't. You do it because you're great at it. If you're good at running a hospital, run a hospital. And I always say, I can run a hospital, but it doesn't mean I can do brain surgery. Bring the greatest people in, make them make you look great. Entrepreneurs are visionaries. We are the one that bring great people together that are smarter and better than us so that they can make us look even greater with every story that we tell. It's all about that growth, that foundation of being great and all of a sudden changing humanity as an entrepreneur. Because if you're chasing money, you'll never, ever win. You chase the actual dream and the goal of where you're going.
Yeah, well said, man. And you dropped a lot of kind of golden nuggets in there, but one thing that I want to kind of go back to is what is the opportunity that the market is telling you that you want? And this is something that it's it's like we all kind of inherently know these things, but sometimes we need to hear them in the right way. And when you're saying, hey, when things are happening, you gotta make the pivot, look for the opportunity, and go do the thing that is in front of you. That happened to me. Like I've run a podcast for 9 years, and I hired a social media person to help me with some social media stuff. And I just gave her like a list of all the stuff that we did. And I talked about how I ran my podcast, which is this very particular and specific way. And she said, is this your like core offering or whatever? Do you teach people how to do this? I'm like, no, it's just something that I do. I've always done it. I've made great connections. I've gotten some business from it. She was like, well, you should throw this other crap away and just teach people how to run podcasts. And I was like, what? No, would people want that? And so I put together a workshop, and sure enough, I got like 10 people signed up for me to build a podcast for them. I had no idea, but somebody pointed out, like, hey, man, the market needs this. And I went and asked the market, and they said, yeah, give it to me. Oh, who would
And,
have thought that? You know?
and it's interesting when you just said that it's about the market. And I always tell anybody the exact same, kind of a little bit different. I said, if you can sell one thing, just one, you can sell thousands. And again, create whatever that is, because you may not know the market or you think you might know it. So this lady came in and she said, hey, have you ever thought of this? Now, what that did is brought in the things you know that you don't know, opening up curiosity and asking a better question. Because we always put on our what do we call our glasses and we can only see this. But all of a sudden, someone opened up here and opened up the Pandora box and said, hey, wait a second. And once you sell one, you can sell 1,000. Because there's how many people? We got 10 million, 100 million, whatever they are. One person's going to buy. If one buys, you're going to get at least another million. How easy is that? That's the greatest thing about this is that I know if I sell one, if one loves it, I know there's another million out there. It's kind of like this podcast. Like, and I do a podcast as well. And I go, people go, are you chasing the likes or are you chasing the dollar? And I said, no, no, chase what it feels inside. Because if it feels good for me, feels good for them, and then I know I'm going to basically hit somebody out there that's going to love what we're talking about and buy whatever widget commodity products that we're thinking or the dream of being who we are. So
I think
that's
there's
powerful.
I think there's a little bit of yada 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 between selling one and selling a million. I think we're leaving out some meat there, but but I agree
Well,
with you. It is technically possible. There might be a
but
little
what's
work.
interesting, but it's true though, because and I'm going to speak from experience. Okay, so I started a company called Spindle Stairs and Railings. Okay, I have never ever installed a railing ever before in my life, ever, even to this day, and I have the largest railing company in Canada. Okay, I've never installed a railing. What I used to do is I used to bring people that were really good at what they're doing and bring them in. Now, the hardest step is your first million. After you make your first million, the second, third, fourth is way easier. Now, as fast as you go up and make your first million, as quick as you can lose your first million too. So when you get that first sale, how are you doubling it up? How are you 10xing each approach that you're doing? And it's not about doing the job, it's about getting the right people and getting them on the bus that's going to move you ahead. Example, I own bars, restaurants, nightclubs. I've never ran a bar or nightclub, making sure I got the right people in it so they're doing the greatest jobs possible. Plexi Company. We basically, I don't know anything about Plexi. I actually brought people in that knew about that and were able to double it. And it's basically collaborating with other people and bringing it together. And we're going to talk about this is the coolest thing is a fire truck. So why does a fire truck only have six people in it when they're doing it? It's the easiest to manage. As an entrepreneur and you're starting your business, what's the easiest to manage? Six people, just like a fire truck. Once you get to the seventh, now you have to create another manager. Now you have to double that up. And now you have to have a manager and an assistant manager. So now you have to double your intake. So if you can look at it as a fire truck has your one person, those guys should be your first 100,000. Okay. And then it builds from there. And it's about how you're placing your men and how you communicate will actually double your incomes of what widget or commodity you're selling.
Hmm. Yeah, makes sense to me. And so tell us a little bit more about you've got a lot of different business ventures. What are the things that you're focusing on right now, and who are you trying to impact?
So the greatest thing that as an entrepreneur that you want to impact and be, so I'm 57 years old right now. Now, as I'm growing older, and as when I started my first business 35 years ago, and I have a bunch of businesses I'm going, I'm looking now to say, okay, how do I change the world? And I'm not being saying, yes, I give back and I give money, but the difference is as an entrepreneur, what do you want to be known as you get older? Yeah, I want to have a legacy. No, let's not think of legacy. What happens when you retire? So what I look at is what does branding mean to an individual? So I look at Kevin Halliday as a brand. Do I want to be known as when I retire, meaning sell my business, spindle stairs and railings, and sell this business? Oh, that's the railing guy. Kevin, I'm known as that, the railing guy, or he owns this. No, I'm not going to retire and go to golf. What I want to do is make sure I build a personal brand that's Kevin Halliday, that's worldwide. So any activities that I do worldwide could be investments, could be startup companies, it could be anything that allows me to go here's Kevin Halliday's brand. So if you ever Google me, just Google me. You don't even have to go on it. Kevin Halliday, just my name. I'm worldwide. The purpose of that is that you need to start off branding yourself personally because you'll get to know, and this is where I'm focusing on, is what's the next level after I sell this business, and this business is where am I going to be? Now that'll be a talking, speaking tour. That'll be a motivational tour. I do health and wealth over 50 because I do competitive bodybuilding as well, worldwide. So what is the storytelling that I'm able to put back into society and build off of it? So I looked at it and said, well, sure, I can own this business and that business, but why wouldn't I look at better and seeing communication like podcasting, social media, and say, how can I 10 times it worldwide and actually build a personal brand? So that's where my real focus is on, is building a personal brand that is worldwide.
Awesome. Love that. And so where can we go to learn more and connect with you directly?
Just Google me, Kevin Halliday. Just Google Kevin Halliday. It'll come up. I'll be 2 or 3 pages, literally. And then my website is kevinhalliday.com. And then my podcast is Shed Talk with Kevin Halliday. Then all of my social media contacts, my speaking tour is Health, Wealth, and Mindset over 50. So men that are over 50 and then basically are looking to change themselves to get to the next level of what it takes to not being stuck. And what does it take to create wealth after 50? Because it's my avatar when I talk to guys over 50. Um, Actually been through a couple divorces, been like this, and it's like they want to basically redefine who they are. So then I show them techniques and basically what does it take to go from here to here and be something that they've never thought they could have been after 50. I'll say 57. So
Yeah,
yeah.
love it. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up from here. Thanks so much to our guest, Kevin Halliday, for coming on and sharing a little bit of wisdom about how he gets things done. For those of you who want to connect with him directly, you can visit his website, kevinhalliday.com, or just Google him. He is dominating the first several pages of Google on there. So, hey, whether you're on your morning commute, you're lifting weights in the gym, or you are repairing windmills out in the field, snap a selfie, tag me at JT Literally, show me what you do while you're in the do zone. And one more time, if you want daily sales and a full calendar of prospects who want what you have, download the Fast Track Funnels Blueprint for free at getconversions.net. That's it for now. Let's get to work.
Hey, thanks for listening to the Do Zone podcast. If you're running a service-based business that's looking to grow this year, let's talk about how we can slingshot you into momentum with a quick injection of cash and sales. Our clients typically see results in as little as 7 days. To learn more about what we do, you could go to factor1.io. Once again, that's factor1.io. We'll see you next time.